So this next activity is based around a statement that I ask. Here's a statement here. It says, the only behaviour you can control is your own. Now I guess what I normally do with young people with this is I ask them to split into small groups so they can discuss the statement itself and create an opportunity for a bit of reflection. And I guess the reason why I'm using the statement there, the only behaviour you can control is your own, is mainly for getting them to think about that it's up to them how they behave. I cannot control how somebody else behaves. I can only influence how someone behaves. People in society can only influence how people behave, but actually in the end of the day it's entirely up to them. It's up to them whether they take a knife out of the house. It's up to them whether they get involved in a gang fight. It's up to them whether they take drugs. And I guess it's to get them to start to reflect on that question, who's it up to whether they do things in life. And in your groups, what I'd like you to do is I'm going to ask you to discuss a statement. Alright, that statement that you're going to discuss, I'm only going to do one statement, but I'm going to ask you to discuss that statement. The reason I'm asking you to discuss that statement is because I want you to understand what it means. Now I'm going to sit into one of the groups. Johnny's also going to be in one of the groups. Julie's going to be in one of the groups. And I'll make it into 3 groups actually. There'll be 3 different groups, so it'll make it slightly easier. I'm going to ask you to discuss a statement. You're going to work in that group for this statement, and then we're going to agree and disagree on that statement as one big group. So you're going to stand on one side of the room or the other side of the room. And then after that, you're going to go back into your groups, and I'm going to do another activity in the groups. Okay? You ready? Okay. Yat. Sam.
Anthony.
Yat. Ye. Sam. Yat. Ye. Sam. If you lift your chairs and get into that wee group of people, I'm going to ask you to discuss this statement here. Alright? It says, the only behaviour you can control is your own. The only behaviour you can control is your own. Now all I want you to do, and I'm going to come and sit in that group in a wee second, all I'm going to ask you to do just now is spend 3 or 4 minutes discussing this statement. So you're only going to be talking about this. And you're either going to agree on it in your groups or disagree on it. Now you can come up with an individual point of view in a second when we split into one big group again. But right now I just want you to discuss this statement. I want you to go right down into the nitty-gritty of this statement. So basically what it's saying is, if you have a machete, you cannot control the person that you've got in front of you, even though you've got a machete in your hand. Do you understand what I'm getting at there? Right, so I want you to discuss it. I'm going to come and join that group there just now. What do you think about the statement then? The only behaviour you can control is your own. Do you agree on it or do you disagree on it?
I agree.
You agree on it?
Because you make your own decisions.
You make your own decisions?
You can't tell me what to do.
I can't tell you not what to do. What happens if I had a machete against you?
Then you'd need to
Sorry?
Then you'd pick up the nearest thing.
So if I had a machete, can I control you if I've got a machete?
Aye, you can now, that's threatening.
If I had a knife and I'm going to try and, say for example, I'm going to try and put a knife in your knee, right? I'm going to say, I'm going to plug him in his knee.
He's also got to try it.
Right, so
I'd fight you because I'm going to get stabbed anyway.
So you're going to get stabbed anyway, you're going to fight me. So I take the knife and I try and put it in your knee. What are the chances of this knife going in your knee?
About 50%.
50%?
No, 25%. 25%. Because also he's got to try and stay. Because I'm going to be moving.
So what could happen with this knife then? If you're going to be moving?
If you want to go there.
That knife could have turned around and went into him.
I can kick it with your horn. Because you're trying to go for his knee. So I can put it in your face. Because you're trying to go for his knee. He knows you're going to go for his knee.
What are the chances of me putting this knife through your heart, even though I think I'm going to put it in your knee?
High chance.
Higher chance, would you say, than me putting it in your knee? I cannot control your behaviour. I can only control your behaviour. So that's the dangerous thing about carrying a knife.
So you don't know their reaction.
You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know where that knife's going to go. So even though you might walk around thinking, oh, I was just going to plug someone for doing whatever they're doing, you end up killing someone. If you disagree, you're on this side. You can't go in there because it's on fire. You're going to burn your balls. So the statement was, the only behaviour you can control is your own. Alright? So we had quite an in-depth discussion over there in that group. Does someone leave? Is it alright if you explain to us what we're talking about over there? Is that right?
Like you could be carrying, I could be carrying a knife and having up to Caitlin with a knife, and Caitlin could go and turn that way, and the knife could go into her heart even though it meant to go into her leg. It could go anywhere. You don't know what Caitlin's going to do, I only know what I could do.
Normally, after having the group in having the group split into small subgroups to discuss the statement, only behaviour you can control is your own. After that, what I would do is I'd probably put some sort of line in the middle of the ground, have an agree and disagree side on both sides, like you see in the video, and I'd get them to stand on either side, so it could create a bit of a debate, a bit of more of a discussion within the group, and you can influence that as a facilitator as much as you possibly can. But what I would say, actually, in the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if they agree on it or disagree on it. It's just to create that reflection within themselves on the statement as much as possible. What you'll tend to find with the video and looking at, if you have an opportunity to look at the other videos that have been created, is actually I use this statement quite a lot, and I reflect on this statement quite a lot throughout the other videos. So for example, just on what I'm saying there, is actually if a young person was to be involved in a knife incident, the question is, do you have any control over the other person and the way they're going to move and where you may put the knife? The answer is no, you don't have any control over that, and I guess that's the point we want to get to with that statement. I've got a little bit of extra information I'd like to add in, just related to the way that I've written this statement. The only behaviour you can control is your own. The main reason I kind of write like this or put things into this font is first of all, it engages young people to have a look at it and want to find out more about what it says, and actually sometimes that makes them to ask the question, what does that actually mean? What does it say? And it doesn't sort of highlight them as not being able to read or write properly, but actually a lot of the young people that we work with that are involved in knife crime and gang culture, there's issues with their reading and writing quite often, and because they've not been attending school and all the rest of it. So what I would say is it's good to maybe just spice up the way you deliver things and creatively change the way you write things out sometimes. I'm not saying you all have to write like this, but sometimes it changes the way people think a wee bit.